Ooh, medieval mode. I love medieval. Wait a minute. Stockholm. Okay, cool. Luxembourg. Luxembourg, Luxembourg, Stockholm, Luxembourg, 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 Stockholm, Luxembourg, Stockholm. Great. Hello y'all, BreNine here, and today we're going to be talking about the best loadouts for each class in medieval mode. Now that we finally have all these great alternate servers where you can play stuff like that, I figured it's important for people to know how you should set yourself up, because medieval mode is like nothing else. So as soon as I find a server that isn't several thousand miles away, we're going to get going. Alright, so first up we're going to go over the scout. Obviously primary doesn't matter, none of them have anything that affects you all the time. So let's go straight in. Secondary, you can use Flying Guillotine, Punch, Critical, and Mad Milk. I personally like either Critical or Flying Guillotine, but I know Mad Milk can be great for your teammates. Bonk is the only one that's really kind of useless. I guess I suck. Anyways, for the melee weapon, there's a lot of great options. The Boston Basher can be really good. The Sandman can obviously be nice, but the health really kind of kills that. Most of them are kind of useless. But the Candy Cane, man, the Candy Cane is amazing. Normally, you take that extra 25% explosion damage, which can be pretty devastating to the scout. It kind of kills this weapon for a lot of people. But in medieval mode, there are no explosions. None. Nada. Zippo. Zero. So, its only stat becomes that when you kill someone, like you may have spotted a few seconds back, play that footage. It drops 2 small health kits when you kill someone. The one that you always get from medieval mode, and the one from the weapon stats. Therefore, you can heal personally up to like 50 health from 1 kill. And, see, right there, 2. And your teammates can heal even more because small health packs can heal even more for other classes. Okay, next up is the soldier. Obviously, again, primary does not matter at all. Secondary, you can use anything that isn't a gun. You can use your buff banner, your parachute, your whatever. But personally, I will tell you that in my experience, it is very rare that you will fill up your entire meter with any of the banners. Therefore, you should go with one of the 2 that has a passive effect. The Conjurer, with its 4 health regenerated on wearer, and the Battalion's Backup with the 20% max health. Now, with the 20 max health, I pair that with the half Satoichi. Because, let's face it, it's not like you're going to be switching around, so the losing health on whatever isn't that huge a deal, and because you gain 50% of your max health back when you get a kill, that is increased significantly because of the fact, okay, well, 10 health isn't significant per se, but it is increased because of the increased max health you get from the Battalion's Backup. Now, just because of recording time, it's going to be easier for me to just keep on the Zatoichi while I talk about the other set that I typically run. But what I will tell you is that I typically set up the Conjurer with the Equalizer. That's what it is. Because when you get down to low health, you can dish out that high damage, and then as soon as you dish out that high damage and you kill the other dude, you can just, oh sweet, I can blow that, sweet, run away, run away. As soon as you dish out that high damage from the low health, you can recover and not get one-shotted a few seconds later. You just pull yourself back up, and it's really, just a really good combo. Alright, next up we have the Pyro, and I think Pyro may be the only class, oh, no, he's not the only class, but he's one of the only classes that can literally only use a melee weapon. There are no primaries that are cleared. There are no secondaries that are cleared because they did not have not flying pans, of course they had flying pans. What am I talking about? They did not have flare guns in the days of yore. Anyway, the 2 best here, I find, are either the Power Jack, can be very good with that speed boost and that extra health on kill. Oh, but for me, the damage penalty, or the damage increase that you take, does kind of kill it. My personal favorite is the back scratcher, because that extra damage really gives you a great edge in a fight, and the increased health from health packs is amazing when every guy you kill drops a health pack. It's a huge boost, and the minus health from medics isn't really a big deal, because let's face it, there's not a whole lot of medics healing people out here. You can't even use your medigun. So if you're healing, it's with the crossbow, and your aim sucks, and just overall, this is by far the best option as far as I'm concerned. Okay, Demo Man. Demo Man, I am not even going to touch. I'm just going to tell you where the wee booties, I like the splendid screen, and use whatever melee you damn well please. Also, you should know that you can do this. It's awesome. But there's so many different ways to play Demo Knight that if I say anything about what's best, everyone's going to hate me and rage. Well, no, they wouldn't rage in the comments. No one cares enough about me to do that. But there would be dissent. Let me just put it that way. Alright, now we've come to heavy. Once again, there are no primary weapons that you can use with the heavy. They're all excluded, because miniguns aren't exactly a medieval thing. You can still use all your sandwiches. It's nice to have that full health regen is nice. I personally run Buffalo Steak, because even though you do take that little bit of extra damage, it is often balanced out by the fact that people have to get close to you, and that the lock to melee weapon is no longer a thing at all, because you only have your melee weapon. The two weapons that are really good are always going to be the Warrior Spirit, which is what I like to use, and the Killer Gloves of Boxing. With Killer Gloves, obviously, you get that sweet crit boost on kill, but the fact that you hit so much slower is just going to destroy you anytime you get into a fight and you haven't recently killed someone. So I like the Warrior Spirit, because even though you take more damage, you deal a lot more out, especially when you stack it with the Buffalo Steak, and the 50 health restored on kill will really save you when there's a bunch of guys attacking you, because all you got to do is kill one, and suddenly you have a lot more leeway for killing the others. Alright, so Engineer. First off, I just want to say, please don't play Engineer in medieval mode. It's really just not designed for it in any way. It's just a bad decision overall. That said, if you do decide to play Engineer in medieval mode, there are two weapons that you should consider using. The first is, as I'm using right now, the Gunslinger. You know why? Because it gives you more health. And with this, Lord knows you're gonna need it. That 25 health will save your. Also, the third hit guaranteed crit. That sounds cool. Third hit guaranteed crit. That's awesome. I wonder if they intended that. Is really, really good for when you're fighting tough enemies. Because if there's especially if there's 2 or 3 of them, if you can land that third hit in a row just holding down mouse and nail 3, you deal a mad amount of damage when you land that third shot. And it can really save you, especially if you run into a heavy. And he's gonna mess you up, and then you get that third hit, and you do all that damage, and it's awesome. Anyway, now that I'm done gushing over that, the second option is gonna be the Southern Hospitality. Now, the downside does still sort of exist. You still do take a lot more damage from fire, and you can still be set on fire by a pyro running the volcano fragment, which actually isn't a terrible weapon here anymore. Or you can be set on fire by a huntsman arrow, but in general those do tend to be balanced out by the fact that when you hit someone, they bleed, which is really nice because they don't heal very easily. Here, there's no medics to run to, and you can get a lot of bleed out kills, and you can spy check. Man. See, this is a good example of why you don't play Engineer. Okay, now we're getting to something a little more interesting with the medic. First thing I want to say is, these don't work. Use the Crusader's crossbow it is really, really, really amazingly good in this mode. The second thing I want to say is none of the metaguns work. Any of them. At all, no exceptions. So because of that, you can't ubercharge, and as such, you should not use the uber saw. All it does is reduce your firing speed. You should not use the Vita saw. All it does is reduce your health. You know what you should use? You should use the amputator, because you can heal lots and lots of people really, really fast. If you get your entire team on one point and they're getting beat on and you need to keep them alive so that you can win, just do this. You heal a ton of health really quick, and the damage penalty really isn't that important because you should be shooting people with your crossbow or healing people with your crossbow or healing people with the amputator. Yeah, see, it's also great for defense because, well, you can see that other medic was using it. Anyways, if you aren't going to use that, at least use the Solemn Vow, because seeing that enemy health can be helpful. But again, not really a big deal, because you don't have to protect your Uber or anything anymore. It's just not a thing. Yep, see, he's using it too. He's smart. I like you, medic. You smart. Actually, I don't like you. You're on the other team and you're smart. Okay, now we're to Sniper, which everyone knows you have to use the Huntsman. Nothing else works, you gotta use the Huntsman. What's a little less known is with the secondaries. Girardi doesn't work, because apparently in the ancient days of yore, people didn't piss. But whatever, it gives us the Cozy Camper, which does still work. 4 health regenerated per second on wearer. That is freaking amazing for the Sniper. Normally, yes, that weapon sucks. You're much better off with literally anything else. Medieval mode, that health will save you. It will save you. And melee, never use the Bushwhacker. It literally just makes you take more damage. Personally, I use the Shasha. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. I will embarrass myself. Which is basically like the Equalizer, which is very nice for the same reasons the Equalizer was nice. The other thing you can use is the Tribalman Shiv, because that bleed damage you can do is really good. But personally, when someone's that close, I like to be able to dish out a whole lot of damage, and I just can't do that with that weapon. Piece of advice, these braziers here, and there's also some for the attacking team, they'll light your arrows. You should never fire an arrow off these battlements that isn't on fire. Ever. Lighting people on fire from a distance is a great thing. They will either die from the arrow, or in many cases they will then proceed to burn to death. There are braziers here in this tower, so you can fire arrows out like that. There is one here, so you can fire arrows onto point A, or just from there. There are, let's see, let me deal with this. There we go, see, you see the advantage of that extra damage when you're low on health? Right there. So this is for firing onto the last point or the first one, and here's another one for firing onto the last point or point B. Anyways, use the Cozy Camper, that health regen is really nice. Use the Shashanasha. Oh, I'm not even gonna try. And always use the Huntsman to fire flaming arrows. And last but not least, the Spy. Now, obviously no revolvers and sappers don't matter because NGs can't build anything. What does matter is your watch and your knife. Always run the dead ringer. I cannot stress that enough. There is no reason you should ever be trying to sneak around behind people. There's just no opportunity. It doesn't make sense. It's pointless. What matters is surviving those hits. Now with knives, there's not a whole lot of difference between things. But personally, well, it's more what's bad than what's good. What's bad is any knife that reduces your health. That is a bad thing. That is a very bad thing. That means no kunai and no big honor. So what are we left with? We're left with the eternal reward and the Spicicle. Eternal reward I personally like because this place is just such a madhouse that people really aren't going to notice a lot, and you can save yourself with that dead ringer a lot of the time. Oh wait, no you can't. The team lost. But it is really good. The Spicicle can be very nice because it'll save you from those fire arrows on occasion, and it'll give you time to get back to base. But again, then you're completely weaponless, so it's really not that great. Alright, so there you go. A rundown of some of the best weapons for the medieval modes. You can go play on those awesome new alt servers I talked about last week in the video right above here, and play medieval mode, and win. Win for me! If you found this video remotely helpful and you'd like to see more of my work, click on one of the videos above to watch them. And click on my name right here to subscribe to my channel for more great content. Like the video, leave me a nice comment. Anyways, I hope this helps you in your future endeavors, as Mr. Paladin would say. Good luck, y'all. BreNine, out.